So these notes are going to go in the back of your composition book where your theorems are. And this is going to be congruent triangle theorems. Now, by definition, triangles are congruent if all three sides and all three angles are the same in the two triangles. But instead of proving that 6 different things are the same, all three sides with the other three sides, all three angles with the other three angles, we have some other properties, okay, or theorems. So just so we understand, again, for things to be congruent triangles, I need all three sides to be the same, and I need all three angles to be the same. And if that is true, then the triangles are congruent. But we don't have to always make sure that all 6 of these sides and all 3 of these sides and 3 of these angles are the same. Okay, so again, I have this side, this side, this side, this angle with this angle, this angle with this angle, this angle with this angle. But instead of having to find all 6 of these and prove all 6 of them, sometimes there's less that we have to find. So that's what we're going to be looking at today and adding into our composition book, kind of the shortcuts so that we don't have to know all 6 of these pieces. Now, I have in our module this triangle congruence exploration that you can play around with. I'm going to be playing around with it here to show us some of these properties. So these are the situations: side, 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 angle, side, 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 angle, angle, side, angle, 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 side, angle, 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 and hypotenuse leg. So basically we have a situation here where all 3 sides. Here we have 2 sides and an angle. Notice that the angle is in a different location. This is 2 sides with the angle in between. This is 2 sides not with the angle in between. Here, this one is 2 angles on the side, so is this one. Here with angle, side, angle, the side is in between the 2 angles. With this one, the side is not in between the 2 angles. This is knowing all 3 angles. And this is a right triangle where we know the hypotenuse and the leg. I'm going to start with side, side, side. Take a peek at that. So if we know all 3 sides, is that enough to make the triangles be congruent? So if we have a side that's a 10, a side that's a 6, a side that's a 7, is there only one triangle I can form, or is there different triangles I can form? That's what we're really trying to see. So they have A as the center of this circle with a radius of 6, which basically is a side of the triangle. Okay, you can see that this 6 is kind of on a hinge. Okay, and then this circle has a center at B with a radius of 7, and again this one has a hinge. The one that's going to be set here is this 10. Okay, so we've got this 10, and then the 6 and the 7 are hinged at either side. The angles are not determined here at all, but we want to form a triangle. So I'm going to move this until they meet. Okay, so I can form a triangle. And so I have a 6, a 7, and a 10. This gave me a 41-degree angle, a 105-degree angle, and a 34-degree angle. Okay, can I form a different triangle that doesn't have these angles? So looking at this, you can see that they will intersect on this side. So I'm going to flip them around, and let's see what happens here. So as I flip them around the circle, you see that when they meet, I get them to meet, sorry. Let's see, when they meet, I get another triangle that still is the same triangle. It has a 41 degree, a 105 degree, and a 34 degree. Now you can adjust these and try different lengths here and see if that always happens, but it is going to always form the same triangle if we have 3 lengths that are going to be consistent the whole time. So let's add this onto our paper. So the first one we're going to add is going to be side, side, side congruence. So if all 3 sides of a triangle are congruent to 3 corresponding sides of another triangle, then the 2 triangles are congruent. And so this in particular is going to be a situation where if I have 2 triangles, okay, and I know that this side is the same as this side, and this side is the same as this side, and this side is the same as this side, then these triangles are congruent, okay? So knowing 3 sides that they are congruent is enough to decide that 2 triangles are congruent. Okay, the next one that we're going to take a peek at is going to be side, angle, side. So this is going to be where I have two sides and the angle in between. So let me get the E tool up to look at. So this time I'm going to do side, angle, side. Okay. So for this, what's happening is I have a two set sides. This 6 and this 12 are set, and so is the angle in between. This 52 is set here. I cannot move point C around. It is set. Now, this side here is not determined. So again, what's determined is this side 6, this side 12, and the angle that's in between. They're kind of already set at a hinge that I can't move. This one, I can move this hinge. Okay, what I'm trying to do is move it until it forms a triangle. Okay, and you see I have 52 degrees, 99 degrees, and 30 degrees. Now, I can move this everywhere I want, but again, it has to connect to this. So every single time, no matter which direction I'm going, I'm always going to end up with 52, 99, and 30. 52, 99, and 30. So knowing 2 sides with the angle in between is enough. So side, angle, side. If 2 sides and the angle in between are congruent to the corresponding parts in another triangle, then the 2 triangles are congruent. and a picture of this one. Just so we understand. See, I was going to copy this one. Is that if I know this side with this side, let's say this side with this side, and then I know that angle in between, okay, that is the situation that we're talking about. Okay, so side, angle, side, two sides with the angle in between. Okay, the next one I'm going to take a peek at. I'm going to take a peek at knowing two sides, but maybe the angle's not in between. So it's the side angle. Okay. So when I have the side angle, what's happening this time is that I have this side that's a 10. Okay, you see that's the circle of this radius B. And so it's going all the way around this circle. Okay, that 10 is hinged at this B. And this 14. So the 14 and the 10 are set. The angle in between them is not. The angle of 40 is on the outside of these two sides. It's not in between. And then you see that this 40-degree angle shooting up and down. Okay, this is 40 degrees with this side that's 14. Now, if I bring this and I have it touch here, you see I get a triangle that has 14, 10, and this 40 degrees, which was the set angle, okay? This angle here on the hinge of B ended up being a 75, and then this is a 64. Now, you'll notice that if I continue on the circle, not only does it hit here, but it also will hit here. And this is not the same triangle. So this time I have my 40 still, but this time I have a 24 and a 110. So if I have an angle and then two set sides, the 14 and the 10 are set sides, but their angle in between them is not set, I can form two different triangles. So this is not a congruent triangle. So side is not congruent. Okay. So the next one I'm going to try, get back to this, angle, side, angle. So we have two that have angles, two angles with a side. I'm going to do the one where I have two angles and the side in between. So let me just zoom in here. So here's my two angles, the 80 and it's shooting off. Okay. And the 52 degree, which is shooting off. And then in between that side is a 9. So the 9 is set. And then at the end of this side of the 9, I have an 80-degree angle, which is going forever. And then over here, I have a 52-degree angle, which is at the other end of the 9, and it's going forever. And then you can see where they're going to meet. They're going to meet right here. Okay. That is the only spot that they're going to meet. So there's only going to be one triangle. And you see I get a 9 and a 12 as the sides. And then I have this 80-degree, 52 degrees. And then we could figure out this one. But you have a 9, 9, and 12. Okay, there's no other triangle that I can form because that angle B is going to shoot out. And this angle A is going to shoot out. But there's only one spot that they're going to meet, which is always right here. And so I end up getting, if I can get them to meet again. Let me just get this one here. Sorry. So I'm going to end up with this triangle. So again, it has a 9, a 12, and then the 9. So having two angles on the side in between is a congruent triangle. So let's add in angle, side, angle. So if two angles and the side in between are congruent to the corresponding parts of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. So, as a picture of this, when we're dealing with this, let's say I have this angle and this angle, and this angle and this angle, and the side in between, the side in between. That's what angle side angle is. So next we're going to try two angles, but not with the side in between, with the side outside. So I'm going to try angle, angle, side. And so what's happening here is I have two set angles, okay? But those angles are shooting out. This one's shooting out this direction, okay, and this direction. So you got the 69 going this direction and this direction. You got the 57 going this direction and this direction. But this length here is set. So the 15 is set, okay? The 57 is set. The 69 is set, but this side here is not, and this side here, but they have to end up forming a triangle. So the only thing that's going to happen is it's going to form a triangle once that touches right there, and I get a triangle. Okay, that is the only situation. Okay, so I got a 13, a 14, and a 15. There's no other way for me to form a triangle because, again, this other point, point C, is moving on that angle A. Okay, and then once that angle touches B, I end up getting a single triangle, 13, 14, and 15. So the next one I'm going to write is angle, angle, side congruency. And so if two angles and the side not in between are congruent to the corresponding parts of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. So a picture of this. Okay, so we have two angles. So let's say I have this angle and this angle. And I have this angle and this angle. And I'm going to have a side. Either I can have this side with this side, or I could have this side with this side. But what I'm not looking at is this with this, because that would be two angles with the side in between. So let's just say I have this side congruent with this side. That would be an example of angle, angle, side. Okay, the next one that I'm going to be looking at is angle, angle, angle. So if I have angle, 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 where I know all three angles, okay? So I have a 38 degree, a 93 degree, and a 49 degree. You see right now I have a side that's a 13, 10, and a 17. But I can make this triangle bigger or smaller. And you can see that the 38, the 93, and the 49 are staying. The angles are staying the same. It's just becoming a bigger triangle or a smaller triangle. So the sides are changing, but the angles are not. So angle, angle, angle is not going to make them congruent. It actually will make them similar, but not congruent. So angle, angle, angle does not work. And the next one I'm going to try is hypotenuse leg. So hypotenuse leg, this is dealing with a right triangle. Okay. So in this situation, you have this leg here, that's a 4. This is a 90-degree angle. So you see the 90-degree angle shooting up. Okay. This 5 is the radius of the circle. And so you can see it can touch right here. And I get a 53, a 37, and a right angle. Or it can come here and I get a 53, a 37, and a right angle. This actually is going to be a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. So what happens is if I know a hypotenuse and a leg, which is actually angle side, side. I really have angle side, side here, which is not one of the congruency properties. But when I have a right angle, because knowing two sides of a right triangle, you can always determine the third side, I'm going to always get the same triangle. So the last one I'm going to list here, hypotenuse leg. Hypotenuse leg. If the leg and hypotenuse of a triangle, of a right triangle, is congruent to the corresponding parts of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. So for this, if I have a right triangle, and I have this right angle, which is the angle, I have this side, let's say, with this side, the leg, and this hypotenuse with this hypotenuse, which really is angle side side, okay, which is not a congruency property, but it is for right triangles. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little note here. Note. Angle, angle, angle is not a congruent triangle. property. It is similar but not congruent. Side angle is also not a congruent triangle property. And that's the end of this video.